Conor McGregor, the former UFC champion whose name has become synonymous with both combat brilliance and controversy, has now set his sights on the highest office in Ireland. What began as a speculative rumor has quickly transformed into a full-fledged political campaign, and the world is watching in disbelief as one of the most polarizing figures in sports history stakes his claim for the presidency of Ireland. The announcement alone sent shockwaves through Dublin. But what made the moment even more surreal was the endorsement he immediately secured from one of the world's most influential voices, Elon Musk. Musk, never a stranger to disruptive figures, proclaimed with enthusiasm that no one would fight harder for the people of Ireland than Conor McGregor. It was a statement that simultaneously electrified McGregor's loyal supporters and stunned his critics, reinforcing the sense that this campaign would be unlike anything in Ireland's modern political history. For McGregor, this audacious step seems to be an evolution of the larger-than-life persona he has cultivated for more than a decade. Known as much for his brash charisma and fiery rhetoric as his fighting skills, he has always portrayed himself as someone who thrives on challenges, never shying away from a stage, and never refusing a fight. His presidential run is a natural extension of that philosophy, except this time the arena is not a cage in Las Vegas, but the political battlefield of Ireland. Addressing crowds in Dublin, McGregor has described his campaign as one rooted in authenticity, promising to bring honesty, strength, and passion to the office of president. He tells his followers that the people of Ireland deserve a leader who understands their struggles, who has fought battles both inside and outside the ring, and who is willing to push back against what he calls the stale political establishment. But his road ahead is anything but simple. To secure his name on the ballot, McGregor must meet stringent requirements, specifically garnering the official backing of at least 20 members of the Oireachtas, Ireland's national parliament, or winning the nomination of 4 local councils. While he has hinted that he already possesses the support of prestigious parties, TDs, and councils, official confirmation of this backing remains elusive. His team insists that they are making progress, but the uncertainty surrounding his candidacy has only fueled debate about whether this campaign is a serious attempt at leadership or another publicity-driven spectacle in the long line of McGregor headlines. Still, the crowds tell a different story. When he appeared recently in Dublin, thousands gathered to hear him speak. His presence ignited an energy rarely seen in Irish political campaigns, where speeches are often polite and measured. McGregor, in stark contrast, delivers his addresses with the intensity of a pre-fight press conference, mixing humor with cutting remarks about his rivals and a passionate appeal to ordinary people. He frames himself as an outsider who knows what it means to claw from the bottom, reminding supporters of his early days as a plumber's apprentice before becoming one of the richest athletes in the world. To his fans, his journey represents resilience, determination, and the Irish fighting spirit itself. To his detractors, it represents arrogance, volatility, and a man unsuited for the gravitas of presidential office. What complicates McGregor's candidacy further are the controversies that have followed him throughout his career. In 2024, a civil court found him liable in a sexual assault case, an outcome that continues to hang over his public image. For many, it is a disqualifying blemish, proof that he is unfit for the presidency. Others argue that his ability to push forward despite scandal is evidence of his resilience and refusal to be silenced by detractors. This divide in public opinion mirrors a larger debate in Ireland about what kind of figure should represent the nation. Outgoing President Michael D. Higgins has been celebrated for his poetic statesmanship and calm dignity, a stark contrast to McGregor's fiery and often unpredictable demeanor. Political leaders have not remained silent on the matter. Irish Transport Minister Darragh O'Brien publicly cast doubt on McGregor's suitability for office, citing the work of President Higgins as the kind of leadership Ireland should aspire to continue. Religious and community leaders have also expressed concern. Dr. Omar al-Qadri, a prominent Muslim leader in Ireland, went as far as to label McGregor Ireland's shame, pointing to his divisive rhetoric and behavior as incompatible with the values of unity and inclusivity. These statements highlight the sharp resistance McGregor faces not just from the political elite, but also from sections of civil society who fear his candidacy risks inflaming social divisions. And yet, for every critical voice, there are others who see McGregor as a necessary disruptor. his candidacy taps into a wave of discontent with traditional politics, appealing to citizens who feel disconnected from the political process and skeptical of career politicians. By presenting himself as a fighter, both literally and metaphorically, McGregor positions his campaign as a battle for the people, one in which he alone has the courage and strength to take on the entrenched system. This populist narrative resonates deeply in an age where celebrity figures around the world have increasingly blurred the line between entertainment and politics. From Donald Trump in the United States to Volodymyr Zelensky in Ukraine, voters have shown an openness to outsiders who challenge the status quo, and McGregor's run is seen by some as part of that broader trend. Elon Musk's endorsement only amplifies this dynamic. The billionaire's reputation as an innovator and provocateur lends McGregor's campaign global visibility. Musk's comment that no one will fight harder for the Irish people than McGregor has been shared widely on social media, sparking memes, debates, and headlines far beyond Ireland's borders. Critics dismiss Musk's support as another instance of his penchant for attention-grabbing declarations, but supporters interpret it as validation that McGregor's campaign is serious and viable. The involvement of a figure with Musk's global influence ensures that this election will not be a quiet domestic affair, but rather an event with international interest and scrutiny. Meanwhile, betting markets have been quick to weigh in. Oddsmakers currently give McGregor long shot odds of around 30.1, reflecting both skepticism about his ability to meet nomination requirements and doubts about his appeal to mainstream voters. But those same bookmakers acknowledge that his entry into the race has dramatically altered its dynamics. Even if he does not win, his campaign has injected a sense of unpredictability into the election, forcing other candidates to respond to his presence and potentially reshaping the issues that dominate the race. For many in Ireland, the question now is whether McGregor's popularity as a fighter and celebrity can translate into political credibility. The presidency in Ireland, while largely ceremonial compared to the powers of the Taoiseach, carries immense symbolic weight. The president is seen as a moral and cultural representative of the nation, a figure expected to embody dignity, unity, and integrity. Critics argue that McGregor falls short of these ideals, pointing to his history of public altercations, controversial remarks, and legal troubles. Supporters counter that these flaws make him human, relatable, and authentic, and that his passion and pride in Ireland outweigh his shortcomings. In his campaign speeches, McGregor leans heavily on this theme of authenticity. He insists that he is not polished or scripted like traditional politicians, but real, raw, and unapologetic. He portrays himself as someone who has never backed down from a challenge, who has always spoken his mind, and who will bring that same spirit to the presidency. Whether this message resonates with enough voters remains to be seen, but it has undeniably struck a chord with those who feel disillusioned by conventional politics. As the campaign unfolds, McGregor faces mounting pressure to articulate specific policies and visions for the future of Ireland. While his early speeches have focused on themes of pride, strength, and fighting for the people, voters will likely demand more clarity on his stance regarding economic challenges, healthcare, education, and Ireland's role on the global stage. For now, though, his candidacy remains defined less by concrete policies and more by the larger-than-life personality that has made him a household name worldwide. What makes this moment so remarkable is the sheer unpredictability it introduces into Irish politics. Few could have imagined that a decade after becoming a two-division UFC champion, Conor McGregor would be standing on a political platform, invoking the Irish tricolour, not as a fighter but as a presidential hopeful. Fewer still could have predicted that Elon Musk, one of the world's most influential entrepreneurs, would be endorsing him. Yet here we are, watching the spectacle unfold, with Ireland caught between disbelief, excitement, and unease. For Conor McGregor, this campaign is more than just a political gamble. It is the ultimate fight of his life, one that will test not just his ability to inspire, but also his capacity to unite a nation that remains deeply divided about who he is and what he represents. And whether he wins or loses, one truth is undeniable: Conor McGregor has already changed the conversation in Ireland.